Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Bescheuertes Kurzes Bein. My name is Leah. Welcome to a full day of cricket. I will start things off with the third T20 international of the Women's Ashes between Australia and England from Adelaide. Before I hand over and leave you in the capable hands of Guerrilla Cricket for the second T20 international between India and England. Let's have a look. I see we have Brian with us. Brian from Brisbane, who is confusingly not in Brisbane. He's in the Midlands, morning from the Midlands in England, he says. Welcome, Brian. So let's have a look. News for the match. We do have a toss and Australia win it and they decide to bat first. Can England make something happen here? The discussions will be very, very hard, I think, because England have not yet managed to win a match in this Women's Ashes. They lost the one-day international leg of the series, and thus far they have lost both T20s that have already been played. The last one a bit unlucky, perhaps, due to DLS shenanigans, due to the rain. So we have teams as well as a result for the toss. And we do have some changes after both England and Australia played the first two T20 internationals with unchanged teams. We now have changes in the teams. One for Australia, as Darcy Brown gets a game. Who is she in for? Let's have a look. So let's go through the teams. Australia, Georgia Wareham. Georgia Voll. And Beth Mooney, the wicketkeeper, to open. Number 3 is Phoebe Litchfield. Number 4, Elise Perry. 5, Annabelle Sutherland. Number 6, the captain, Talia McGrath. Grace Harris at 7, Georgia Wareham at 8. Number 9 is Alana King. Number 10 is Megan Schutt. And 11 is Darcy Brown. For England, we do have 3 changes, I think, as the England team lines up as follows. Danny Wyatt-Hope and Sophia Dunkley to open. Alice Capsey gets a game at 3. Number 4 is Nat Silverbrand. Captain Heather Knight lines up at 5. Amy Jones, the wicketkeeper, is at 6. Freya Kemp at 7. Charlie Dean at 8. Then Sophie Eccleston at 9. And the tail is rounded out by Lindsay Smith at 10 and Lauren Filer at 11. Lauren Bell gets a rest ahead of the test. That is what the coverage is saying here. So England with 3 changes, Australia with 1. And again, Australia have won the toss and elected to bat. And this gets a bit, well, I think, come on, do it, win the toss and get England in first. Do not prolong the suffering unnecessarily. No, but in all seriousness, the last T20 international was quite interesting, I think, and quite tense until the finish. I did not expect England to be in it as much as they were in the end. There were some shenanigans with rain and Duckworth Lewis stern. And to be fair, both teams at different times had every right to be a bit aggrieved or angry with the umpires, because when it started raining the first time, the umpires kept the players out there until England were ahead on DLS. Basically, the second England inched ahead of the target, the umpires took the players off. The Australians were not happy with that, understandably. And then we had a brief interruption. We did not lose any overs, and the second time the umpires took the players off, it was Captain Heather Knight out in the middle for England. I think the equation was 18 runs of 5 deliveries, because the umpires took the players off in the 20th over. And I think the equation was 18 of 5 or something like that, when the game was finally called off, about 5 minutes after the umpires took the players off. The captains were out near the boundary, umbrellas and all, as it was pouring down rain, and they shook hands. And at that time, it was probably Heather Knight who felt a bit hard done by the decision of the umpires to end the match there, because at the time they went off. It was raining. It was already raining really, really, really hard. The water was dripping off the England batters' helmets. And there were only 5 deliveries left to be bowled in the match. And I think Heather Knight at that time backed herself to win a match on this tour. Anyway, Australia, for broader context, Australia have already won the series. There are only 6 more points left to make for the one and only test from Melbourne, the first day-night test in Melbourne that starts on, I think, the 30th. And 2 more in this T20 International, the final limited overs match of the tour. That is worth 2 points. Australia have won the series. They have already made 10 points by winning 3 one-day internationals and 2 T20s. What can England do here in Adelaide? Well, I think one thing that can be said is that their fielding for the series has been very, very poor. In the T20s, there were a few instances where absolute sitters were dropped by England. A lot of misfields. The ground fielding from England was really, really not good. In addition to dropping absolute sitters, then there was miscommunication in the field where 2 fielders were, confused almost as to whose catch to take it was. There were a few instances where balls dropped safely within reach of 2 fielders who just couldn't agree on whose catch it was to take. So, the batting by England has been okay, I think. Especially during the second T20 International, they were absolutely in it for a long, long time, chasing 186, I think, was the target for the second T20 International, and they were ahead of Australia for a good bit of that. Um, so let's see, as we are seeing some stats here right now. Australia have taken more wickets with spin than seam, as have England. The Australian seamers much more prolific than the England seamers because Australia have taken 22 wickets with spin and 20 with seam, while England have taken 23 with spin and only 10 from seamers. So, a bit of a weather update I'm getting here. Today there will be no problem with rain or something like that. And let's have a look at social media. Dave Wood says, "Morning, nice to see we have made changes." Yes, three changes for England, one for Australia. To reiterate that, Darcy Brown gets a match, and I should really have a look at who is missing out because I can't really remember who was playing for the Australians before Darcy Brown. Let's have a look. Ah, yes, Kim Garth. I'm sorry. Yeah, Kim Garth misses out in favor of Darcy Brown. Or is missing out because Darcy Brown is preferred in this instance here. The only England change I have any explanation for is that Lauren Bell has been specifically arrested for the test. Yeah, that will be the first ever day-night test in Melbourne. And well, basically, we were hoping that White Line Wireless would man the box of dreams for that one to bring you coverage of the day-night test. But as White Line Wireless are also based in Melbourne, it looks like everyone at White Line Wireless has gotten tickets for the day-night test. So yeah, no one is free to man the box of dreams and to host a stream. And yeah, Guerrilla Cricket don't have anyone that is able to go into Guerrilla Towers to start or to do the technical side of things. And yeah, I did the Border Gavaskar Trophy. I did all of that, and I don't have the time for another test right now. Regrettably, I would have liked to do it, but no, this is too much. This is too much. It starts at 3 in the morning my time, I think. For I think up to 5 days. Is it a 4-day or 5-day test? Anyway, apparently we are getting very, very close to the start of play. I think 2 more minutes, but the players are already on the boundary, apparently, as I am still seeing some advertisements here. There is apparently a free lunch, which I don't believe in, because I've read both. I've read Robert Heinlein, and I also listen to Skyclad, and I know that there's no such thing as a lunch that's for free. Don't like Heinlein, by the way. Don't be worried. He was a deeply problematic writer. Okay. It looks like we are. Okay. We are apparently back. I don't know why there has been another disconnection. YouTube is really annoying at the moment. So, as we are seeing, Lindsay Smith for England, best figures of 3 for 18 for her. She will open the bowling for England, first time in this T20 international leg of the Women's Ashes. Beth Mooney is on strike. And interestingly enough, England are starting with spin. First over of a T20 international bowling spin. They did not do that during the first two T20 internationals. As we are seeing this very stupid catchphrase on the big screen. Ignite the ashes. No, that's not how that works. There has been an ignition, there has been a burning, and now they're ashes. They are basically inert now. As Lindsay Smith is bowling left arm over the wicket to the left-handed Beth Mooney. First delivery is a dot ball that is played out into the offside by Mooney. And the second delivery is again played into the offside by Mooney. This time there are 2 runs in it as she pierces the packed offside field. There is a gully, a backward point, extra cover and cover. And third delivery, Lindsay Smith comes in left arm over the wicket, and Beth Mooney smuggles one through the gap between backward point and gully, and there is another 2 runs in it for the Australians. 4 without loss as Smith continues. This time Beth Mooney drives straight, relatively straight. It is fielded at mid-on, and there's just a single, so that brings Georgia Voll onto strike for the first time in the match. Australia, 5 without loss, 2 more deliveries left in the first over. There seems to be a decent contingent of English fans out in the crowd. A few English test shirts in there, the old ones with the Vodafone advertisement, not the new Chinch ones. As Lindsay Smith bowls left arm around the wicket to the right-handed Georgia Voll. And she beats her on the first delivery that misses her top of off by just a few millimeters. Final delivery of the over is taken for a single by Georgia Voll, and Australia end the first over 6 without loss. Mooney on 5 of 4, Georgia Voll on 1 of 2. Lindsay Smith with figures of none for 6, no extras in there. So that's good. Let's have a look. If you are listening, you can always get in touch with the stream by using either the YouTube chat or you can also use Blue Sky. There are some Blue Sky handles for you to follow on the screen. The top one, the @linuxlea.bsky.social, is the one I will be monitoring as Freya Camp is continuing. She comes in. So after opening the innings or the bowling attack with some spin, England have now gone back to seam from Camp. First delivery is taken for a single. It is fielded at fine leg. Australia 7 without loss. Mooney is marking her guard. She seems a bit unsatisfied with something. Is it the side screen? Now in comes Freya Kemp, left arm over the wicket. And this one is cut by Mooney. And she finds the boundary for the first time in this Australian innings. 4 runs at deep backward point. And Australia are 11 without loss. In comes Kemp again, left arm over the wicket, full toss, driven straight by Beth Mooney. There are 2 fielders running after it from mid-on and mid-off, but they can't stop the ball. Finding the boundary, another boundary for Beth Mooney, who moves on to 13 of 6. As we are seeing replays of that boundary, it is Nat Silverbrand and Sophie Eccleston running after it. Australia 15 without loss. In comes Freya Camp again. Left arm over the wicket. Another very high full toss that is pulled by Beth Mooney this time, and again the result is a boundary. And Australia are 19 without loss. This is a full toss that arrives at Beth Mooney over hip height. Very, very, very bad bowl by Freya Kemp. Next one. In she comes again, left arm over the wicket. There is an appeal for LBW by the bowler. No one else seems that interested, and the DRS timer is ticking down. And I think the issue is the line, as Beth Mooney stepped into the offside for that one. She missed it. It hit her on the pad, but I would suspect that the impact was outside the line of off stump, so no one is really willing to waste a review on that one. Final delivery of the over brings another dot ball, as we are seeing shots of the Don Bradman statue standing outside the Adelaide Oval. Two overs gone, and the Australians are 19 without loss. Mooney, 17 of 9. Her highest score in this series was, I think, in the first T20 International, where she made a superb 75, allowing everyone else around her to have a go, to swing relatively freely, as we do have another change in the bowling, and it is Lauren Filer. Who is bowling to Georgia Voll. She is bowling right arm over the wicket, and Lauren Voll is unable to score thus far. 2 deliveries gone. Second one beats her inside edge as she is looking to drive Filer. Lauren Filer has taken 5 wickets in her career, in her T20 international career. Her best figures are 2 for 17. In she comes again. This time Georgia Voll clips her off her pads, and there is again no run. 19 without loss, Australia. As we are seeing a slow motion of Lauren Filer's run up, and it's something to behold. The start of her run up looks like she really has to use the bathroom very, very urgently, as the fourth delivery of the over is a bit too short and wide outside the off stump from Lauren Filer, and Georgia Voll uppercuts her and finds a boundary. So 4 runs for the Australians again. And Lauren Filer is not happy. In she comes again, right arm over the wicket. And this one is driven to cover by Georgia Voll. She misses the fielders at point and extra cover. And there is another boundary. So Australia 27 without loss. The run rate is 9.53, and the English bowling has looked relatively ordinary thus far. No major misfields, as the final delivery of Lauren Filer's first over is a single. So Australia 28 without loss. Lauren Filer with figures of none for 9. Let's have a look if we have any messages. Doesn't look like it. Always remember, everyone, if you are listening to this, please consider liking and subscribing. Really, really helps. Helps the channel, because we are all slaves to the algorithm here on YouTube. And any interaction with any of my streams, videos, stuff like that, tells that said algorithm that people are watching and liking what they see. So, or not necessarily, because the algorithm doesn't really differentiate between liking and disliking. It just cares about interactions. Anyway, Charlie Dean is into the attack for England, and she is coming let Let me have a look. What's going on here? Something is very, very bad. Charlie Dean is coming right arm over the wicket to Georgia Vall. A couple of the first delivery, a dot ball in the second, and a single of the third. 31 without loss, Australia. The run rate is below 9 now. 8.86 after 3.3 overs. 31 without loss. Charlie Dean with figures of none for 3. So now Beth Mooney is on strike and she plays one out into the onside and the Australians take another single. Mooney on 18 of 10 and Georgia Vall seems to have gotten her eye in. She is on 14 of 12 after starting relatively slowly, at least in a T20 international context. Another single straight down the ground from Vall. 15 of 13 now. Australia 33 without loss. Run rate 8.61. And Charlie Dean has one delivery left in her first over. She is coming right arm around the wicket to the left-handed Beth Mooney. And there is another single in that as she plays it out towards mid-off. And well, bad English fielding is back again. An England fielder trying to stop one and throwing herself too late over the ball. This is really village fielding from England in this series. Really bad. Let's have a look if anyone is with us. Beth Cooper reposted the announcement of the live stream. Anyway, Lindsay Smith is back. She is bowling to Beth Mooney, who plays her out towards cover, and there is no run as there is a fielder there. Smith bowling left arm over the wicket to the left-hander Mooney, who drives her to long on, and the Australians take another single, 35 without loss now. Mooney on 20 of 13, Vall on 15 of 13. Smith with figures of none for 7 from 1.2 overs. The run rate is now just a tad over 8, 8.08. In comes Lindsay Smith again, left arm around the wicket to the right-handed Georgia Vall, who clips her off her pads. It is fielded at mid-wicket and there is no run, 35 without loss. In comes Smith again, very full and onto the stumps, and Georgia Vall gets a single from that one into the onside. Australia 36 without loss. 2 more deliveries left in Lindsay Smith's second over. Mooney is back on strike. In comes Smith, left arm over the wicket, and this one is guided towards third man by Beth Mooney, and the Australians have taken a couple of runs. The throw in to the middle is a bit off target, and Amy Jones, the wicketkeeper, can't stop it, can't take it, flies over her head even though she is jumping. Final delivery as Lindsay Smith is coming in, left arm over the wicket and played out to mid-on by Beth Mooney for another single. So the Australians are 39 without loss, 5 runs of this 5th over. Let's have a look if anyone is with us? No, I think I am up to date on social media. Anyway, Charlie Dean gets a second over. She will bowl the sixth. Australia 39 without loss. Beth Mooney is on strike. She is on 23 of 15, while Georgia Wall at the non-strikers end is on 16 of 15. In comes Charlie Dean, right arm around the wicket to the left-handed Beth Mooney. And this one is played out towards backward point by Mooney. And there is a single in that one, as backward point is relatively deep. So that brings up 40 for the Australians, 40 without loss. In comes Charlie Dean again, right arm over the wicket. Georgia Wall goes down on one knee and sweeps her, and it is fielded near the boundary at deep mid wicket. And there is another single, as we are seeing shots of the Barmy Army lads in attendance. One of them wearing the aforementioned English test shirt with the Vodafone advertisements, and the other one is wearing a Barmy Army polo shirt. In comes Charlie Dean again, cut by Mooney, and there is again a misfield at backward point. The ball slips through the hands on the ground, and there is another single. 42 without loss. Georgia Wall is back on strike. 3 more deliveries left in Charlie Dean's second over. In she comes, right arm over the wicket and driven towards long on by Georgia Wall, and the Australians are taking another single, 43 without loss. The Australians in this series have been much better than England at rotating the strike, especially important, of course, in situations like these where you have a left-hand, right-hand combination or partnership at the crease. I think in the first T20 international, England brought up their 50 without scoring any single or double off the bat. They brought up their 50 by only scoring boundaries off the bat. They ran, I think, 1 or 2 leg buys in that first T20 international to bring up their 50. As there is a dot ball followed by another single, and at the end of 6 overs, Australia are 44 without loss, run rate 7.33. Charlie Dean with figures of none for 11 of 2 overs. Beth Mooney is on 26 of 19, Georgia Wall 18 of 17. And Sophie Eccleston is brought into the attack for the first time in the match. A very relaxed Australian dugout, as Phoebe Litchfield is set to come in at 3. Then it's Elise Perry, Annabelle Sutherland, and the captain at number 6. In comes Sophie Eccleston, left arm around the wicket to the left-hander Beth Mooney, who pulls a short one from Sophie Eccleston. It is fielded in the deep, and the Australians have taken another single. 45 without loss. I really like the way Sophie Eccleston is measuring her run-up, because she is setting one foot exactly in front of the other. It's not like, okay, I'll take 15 steps. No. It's I need 7.5 feet of run up. And you can't argue with. Oh no, that was a replay. It looked like she had Beth Mooney stumped, but I almost committed a Tony. No, that was a replay. Two singles of the first two deliveries and a couple to Mooney of the third into the leg side, and that means Australia are 48 without loss, 6.5 overs gone. Mooney 29 of 21 and Wall on 19 of 18. In comes Sophie Eccleston again, left arm around the wicket to the left-handed Mooney, who clips one off her pads. And again, there is a misfield by England. Very, very, very easy ball to field. It is running along the ground, not very fast, and the England fielder just can't get a hold of it. Luckily, in this case, there is someone backing her up, so they can keep the Australians to a single. As Georgia Wall is on strike and she cuts Sophie Eccleston, and that brings up Australia's 50 as they run 3 runs on a not very big ground. 52 without loss, the Australians now. Final delivery of Sophie Eccleston's first over coming up. Mooney is on strike. She has brought up her 30 of 22. Georgia Wall on 22 of 19 as Eccleston continues left arm around the wicket, and this one is played out to backward square leg by Beth Mooney. Doesn't really get a hold of it, was looking for a very big flick towards the boundary in front of square on the leg side, misses it, and it's given as leg byes. So Australia 53 without loss after 7 overs. Mooney on 30 of 23, Georgia Wall on 22 of 19, and Alice Capsey is given an over. So that means, let's have a look. How many bowlers have England used already in the match? Six bowlers used in. Well, this is now the 8th over. Only Lindsay Smith and Charlie Dean have been asked to bowl more than 1 over thus far by Captain Heather Knight, as Capsey comes in, right arm around the wicket with her off breaks. First delivery is played out towards backward point by Beth Mooney, and there is no run, so Australia remain on 53 without loss. In comes Capsey again, driven aerially by Beth Mooney towards mid-on, and there is a single in that one. 54 without loss now, Australia. Alice Capsey has an earpiece in. I would suspect that sometime during this innings she will be interviewed on the field by the commentators in the box, as Georgia Wall plays her out towards mid-on, and the Australians are rotating the strike again. 55 without loss now. Mooney on strike again, 31 of 25. The run rate is 7.33. 3 more deliveries left in Alice Capsey's first over. In she comes again, right arm around the wicket. And Beth Mooney lofts her towards long on. And the Australians are taking another single, 56 without loss now. In comes Capsey again, right arm over the wicket to the right-handed Georgia Voll, and she is lofted straight down the throat of Danny Wyatt Hodge, I think that is, at long on. Yes, it indeed is Danny Wyatt Hodge. So Georgia Voll has to go. She is out caught. Danny Wyatt Hodge bowled Alice Capsey, 23 of 21 deliveries, and the Australians lose their first wicket in the match. 56 for 1. A strike rate of 109 for Georgia Voll, 109.52 to be exact. And that should bring Phoebe Litchfield out into the middle for Australia. So, yeah, I'm not sure if England can be, if this is that a good bowling performance? I don't think so. I mean, we are in the 8th over. This is the first wicket for Australia to fall. They have made a 50 opening stand. Final delivery of Alice Capsey's over is a dot ball, and Australia remain on 56 for 1 after 8 overs. The run rate is exactly 7. As we are seeing close-ups of Alice Capsey, and that can't be comfortable because in addition to the earpiece she has in, she also has, of course, one of these really big bushy microphones on the collar of her kit. I guess I would absolutely be annoyed by something like that. Filer is back. She is bowling right arm over the wicket to the left-handed Mooney, who plays her out towards point. And the Australians have taken, I think that's a single. Yes, indeed it is. Beth Mooney moves on to 33 of 27, and Phoebe Litchfield is on strike for the first time in the match. Lauren Filer with figures of none for 10 from 1.1 overs. In she comes again, right arm over the wicket, dabbed out into the leg side by Phoebe Litchfield, fielded by, I think that's Sophie Eccleston at mid-on, and there is another single in that one, as Filer falls down during her follow-through. In she comes again, right arm over the wicket, and Beth Mooney is stepping back to the leg side to give herself room to cut Filer away to the boundary behind square on the offside for 4 runs. Been a minute since the last Australian boundary, but there is another one. That's a very, very fine shot from Beth Mooney, and it means the Australians have brought up their 60. 62 for 1, as Filer continues right arm over the wicket, and Mooney mistimes a pull shot, gets an under edge to it, and there is just a single in that one, as Amy Jones from behind the stumps is running after it, stops it. 63 for 1. Heather Knight, the captain, seems very pumped, cheering on her bowlers. Another single with a pull from Litchfield, and Australia are 64 for 1. Mooney is back on strike for the final delivery of the 9th over. That is bowled by Lauren Filer. In she comes again, right arm over the wicket, and this time Mooney scoops her, finds the boundary at very fine leg. 68 for 1. This is a really interesting scoop shot from Mooney, because she steps towards off and scoops Filer from outside her off stump over the leg side towards deep fine leg. 1 bounce 4. 9 overs gone. The run rate is 7.56. Beth Mooney, 42 of 30. Phoebe Litchfield, who is now on strike facing Alice Capsey, is on 2 of 3. Let's have a look if anyone is with us on YouTube. Again, remember, if you're watching this, please consider liking and subscribing, as Phoebe Litchfield lifts Alice Capsey straight down the ground, and Charlie Dean, the unfortunate fielder who misses probably a chance for a catch. Yes, indeed. This one is a very tough chance for Charlie Dean, though, as she has to run around from mid off straight towards towards a very straight boundary. It's, I guess, almost 20 meters. She had to run there. Doesn't make it. So it's a boundary. Second delivery is a top edge that again falls in between the keeper and the fielder, and there is another miscommunication in the field for England. Their fielding has been really bad. As Capsey continues, beats the outside edge of Beth Mooney. Amy Jones whips off the bails, but Mooney's back foot remains firmly planted behind the crease, and there is no run. 73 for 1. Alice Capsey with figures of 1 for 8. The only England bowler to have taken a wicket in the match. 3 more deliveries, as we are seeing Charlie Dean sprinting into the bowels of the Adelaide Oval. She is off the field. I can't tell you who is on for her as a substitute, but she seems to be off, as Mooney looks to drive one straight. It is fielded by Alice Capsey, and there is no run. A few jokes are exchanged between Alice Capsey and Sophie Eccleston, who is coming in from mid-off. And the fourth delivery, what would be the fourth delivery of the over, is deemed a leg side wide by Alice Capsey. So she will have to bowl that one again. And in she comes, right arm around the wicket, and this one is driven square by Mooney, fielded, and there is no run. 74 for 1. Final delivery now coming up. Capsey, right arm around the wicket, clipped off the legs of Mooney towards mid-wicket. And the Australians are running very, very hard for a couple of runs. And they make it in time, 76 for 1. And I think that should be drinks. Yes, indeed it is. Let me have a look if anyone is with us. Anything new? No, not yet. I will take a short break and be with you in, well, 2-3 minutes. Okay, see you later, everyone. And we are back. It is Netziva Brunt for the first time. She will bowl the 11th over, and there is a single to Phoebe Litchfield of the first delivery of Netziva Brunt's first over. In she comes again, right arm around the wicket to the left-handed Beth Mooney, who cuts her away, and it evades the fielder at point. And deep cover has to come around and field it at the boundary. Australia take another single, 78 for 1 now. Phoebe Litchfield is back on strike, and Netziva Brunt switches to over the wicket again. And Phoebe Litchfield drives her. It is fielded near the boundary by Sophie Eccleston. Another single for Australia, 79 for 1. In comes Silverbrandt again, driven to deep cover by Beth Mooney, and the Australians take another single, bringing up their 80 for 1 after 10.4 overs. Litchfield on strike again and driven aerially into the onside, and there is a chance that goes missing. Again, that one is... Who was that? Was it Danny White-Hodge who dropped a relatively straightforward chance? The Australians take a couple, and that brings up 82 for 1. Phoebe Litchfield is given another life. Is given a life. And there is a single of the final delivery, and I can tell you that Charlie Dean is back on the field of play. Australia end the 11th over on 83 for 1, run rate of 7.55. Beth Mooney is within striking distance of her half century, 46 of 36. She already has a half century in the series, or in the T20 leg of the series. 75 she made in the first T20 international of the 2025 Women's Ashes. In the second one she made, I think, 44. As Sophie Eccleston is continuing, she is coming in a left arm around the wicket to the left-handed Phoebe Litchfield, who goes down on one knee to sweep her. She misses it, and Sophie Eccleston has her bowled. Let's have a look at that one again. Yes. I think Phoebe Litchfield overestimated the bounce that Sophie Eccleston is getting here, as it is skidding on and hitting middle stump halfway up. Phoebe Litchfield has to go 12 of 10. She is out bowled Sophie Eccleston, and that should bring Elise Perry out into the middle for Australia at number 4. Elise Perry it is indeed. In direct competition between Elise Perry and Sophie Eccleston, 57 deliveries that resulted in 70 runs, 2 dismissals, a strike rate of 122.8, 4 fours and 4 sixes she has scored of Sophie Eccleston. Her highest score in T20 internationals is 75. As Sophie Eccleston continues, left arm around the wicket, driven straight back towards Sophie Eccleston, who misfields it, and the Australians run a single on the misfield by the bowler. And England's woes in the field and in the fielding department continue. That was an unnecessary single that Sophie Eccleston conceded here. 84 for 2, run rate for 7.41, 11.2 overs gone. Mooney on strike, 46. And she looks to sweep Sophie Eccleston. There is an appeal for LBW, and Sophie Eccleston, ever expressive, is in conversation with Amy Jones and Heather Knight, and they have decided that this is worth it. They have reviewed the not out decision that was given on the field. Everyone is looking relatively certain that this will go England's way, as we are now seeing the front on. And indeed, we are seeing the front on, and it doesn't look like Beth Mooney is getting anything on that one. No, it sneaks beneath her bottom edge, hits her on the shin, basically halfway up the pad between the shoe and the knee roll. It is pitching outside leg though, and England lose their review. So, in addition to errors in the field, there are now also errors in judgment regarding the decision review system. Eccleston continues. This time Mooney spoons one into the leg side, falls short of any fielders in there, and the Australians have taken another single. Two more deliveries in Sophie Eccleston's second over still to be bowled. Elise Perry is on strike. She is on 1-1. In comes Eccleston, left arm around the wicket, and Perry gets an outside edge that evades Amy Jones, runs away to the boundary at very fine leg, and the Australians get another 4 runs. 18-9 for 2 now, and Elise Perry has moved on to 5 of 2. Final delivery of Sophie Eccleston's second over coming up now. In she comes, left arm around the wicket, full toss that is played to backward square leg by Elise Perry, and there is no run. Australia end the 12th on 18-9 for 2. Beth Mooney is back on strike, 47 of 38. She is inching towards her half century. And let's have a look if anyone is with us. I think I'm up to date on social media. Again, if you are listening, please do get in touch, like Brian and Dave did earlier in the innings. It's always fun to hear from you out there. What are you doing? Where are you listening to this from? Yes, and we have Charlie Dean back for her third over. She is bowling to Beth Mooney, right arm around the wicket. There is a single into the leg side, fielded at long on, and Mooney moves on to 48 of 39. 90 up for Australia inside the 13th over. And yeah, if we are following that old rule of thumb, Australia look set for a score of between 170 and 180, as Elise Perry drives Charlie Dean towards long on, as Charlie Dean is switching over the wicket to the right-handed Elise Perry. Beth Mooney now back on strike, and of course Charlie Dean is bowling around the wicket to the left-hander. Driven to mid-on by Beth Mooney, and the Australians take another single, so she is on 49 of 40. Elise Perry on strike, Australia 92 for 2. Halfway through the 13th over, as Elise Perry is defending one back into the turf, it bounces very, very high towards the fielder at cover, who fumbles the ball again, and this time the Australians do not run on the misfield. Dean coming in again, and Perry flicks her into the leg side. There is a fielder out in the deep though, and there is only a single for the Australians in that one. 93 for 2, run rate of 7.25. Final delivery. Full toss down the leg side that Beth Mooney misses. It is given as a wide, and Australia move on to 94 for 2. There have been 3 extras in the innings, 2 wides and a leg by. In comes Charlie Dean and driven to Eccleston at mid-off, which means that Beth Mooney, who has taken the single, brings up her half-century, 50 of 41 of the final delivery of the 13th over, and the Australians are 95 for 2 after 13 overs. So let's have a look if anyone is with us. No. Again, what are your expectations for the match? Can England win one here, the first time in the series? You can use the YouTube chat, or you can use Blue Sky. The Blue Sky handle is on your screen now. It's the top one. The other ones you should follow as well. Friends of the channel, all of them. They were at one stage or another on the call during the Border Gavaskar Trophy. But they're all very fine people. Anyway, Alice Capsey continues for England, and she is taken for a couple of her first delivery, as Beth Mooney moves on to 52 of 42. Australia 97 for 2. Second delivery, the Australians rotate the strike again with the single, and that means Elise Perry is now facing Alice Capsey, who is bowling right arm over the wicket to the right-hander. And this one is onto the pads of Elise Perry, who flicks her towards deep square leg. And the Australians have taken another single. 99 for 2, within touching distance of triple figures now. Elise Perry is on 8 of 7, but it is Beth Mooney who is on strike, as Alice Capsey serves her up a very juicy full toss that Beth Mooney pulls behind square on the leg side, and that one will do it. 103 triple figures for the Australians are up. That one was quite the loosener. And Beth Mooney says thank you very much as she dances down the pitch and deposits Alice Capsey towards the boundary. 103 for 2. Mooney on strike, 57 of 44. In comes Alice Capsey, right arm around the wicket. Driven aerially by Beth Mooney, but it is very high, higher than wide, or it's higher than long, and it is fielded straight down the ground, and the Australians have taken a couple despite an England fielder picking that one up. 105 for 2. Mooney on strike, 59. She goes aerially again, this time over cover, and she finds the boundary. 4 runs, Australia 109 for 2. Beth Mooney brings up her 63 of 46 deliveries. Elise Perry is on strike to start the next over. 14 overs gone. Capsey and Eccleston, the only 2 England bowlers to be able or succeeding in taking an Australian wicket. As we are seeing the wagon wheel of Beth Mooney. No sixes hit thus far in the innings. There have been 4s. There has been 1-3. And during the last 30 deliveries, 36 runs have been scored by the Australians, as Smith is continuing. And Elise Perry takes her for a single, bringing up the 110 for Australia of the first delivery of the 15th over. In comes Smith again, left arm around the wicket. Mooney goes down on one knee and sweeps her behind square on the leg side, finding another boundary. 67 now for Beth Mooney. Let's have a look at okay, 114 for 2. I was looking at the scorecard, but that doesn't update automatically anymore. I don't know why. If this is an issue with Firefox or the back end from ESPN Cricinfo, I couldn't tell you. As we are seeing comparisons between the 2 England left arm spinners, Smith and Eccleston. Very, very interesting to see that Sophie Eccleston is bowling very, very far behind the crease. There is nothing on the line when Sophie Eccleston releases the ball. Smith continues 5th delivery of the over to Beth Mooney, and there is another single in that one. 117 for 2, the Australians. Final delivery of Lindsay Smith. I think I called her Lauren earlier by my mistake. Her name is Lindsay. Final delivery and driven by Elise Perry, misfielded at short cover again. Very, very poor fielding from England, and the boundary rider has to cover for that mistake by the fielder inside the ring. The Australians run a couple on that one and end the 15th over on 119 for 2. Let's have a look at social media in between overs. Doesn't look like anyone is with us on Blue Sky, and apparently YouTube is quiet as well. Okay, anyway, Charlie Dean is going to bowl out In she comes, right arm around the wicket to the left-handed Beth Mooney, who plays her out to mid-on for another single, bringing up her 70. 70 of 50. Australia 120 for 2. And Beth Mooney is just 5 runs away from equaling her highest score of the T20 leg of the series. 75 in the first T20. In comes Charlie Dean, right arm over the wicket to Elise Perry, who is looking to cut her, and it goes straight towards the extra cover fielder. That is, I think, Freya Kemp, who takes an easy catch. No mistakes this time. And the Australians lose their 3rd wicket. That is... Let's have a look. Is it Freya Kemp who takes the catch? Yes, indeed. Elise Perry is out. Caught Kemp bowled Dean for 12 of 11 deliveries. Strike rate of 109.09. There was another Australian batter with a strike rate of 109. That was Georgia Vall, who was also out she was out for 23. But the strike rate was almost identical, 109.52 for Vall, 109.09 for Elise Perry now. And that brings out Grace Harris into the middle. Right-handed batter. First delivery is a flick of her pads behind square on the leg side, and there is a single, so she is off the mark. The danger of a duck has been avoided. 121 for 3. Mooney slashes Dean towards mid-wicket, and there is another single, I think. Yes, indeed, there is a single, and Grace Harris is back on strike. Defended into the offside by Grace Harris. Fielded, there is no run. As we are seeing the Australian dugout, and Elise Perry doesn't look very happy with herself. Hasn't taken off the pads yet. Final delivery of Charlie Dean's final over for the day, and there is a single for Grace Harris again. She moves on to 2 of 3. Australia 123 for 3 after 16 overs. 4 more to come, and England have regained some sort of control. I think the 170-180 score is moving into the relatively far distance. We are now seeing a graphic of Grace Harris's sixes from the second T20 International. I think she hit 3 sixes in that second T20 International, as Sophie Eccleston is continuing for her 3rd over. In she comes, left arm around the wicket, as Grace Harris goes down on one knee to sweep her, misses it. Amy Jones whips off the bails, but Grace Harris never moved her back foot, and there is no chance of a stumping. Eccleston continues, and this time Harris lofts her over her head. 6 runs straight down the ground. Not much foot movement in that one. It's all in the arms. And it is the first 6 of the innings. Australia 129 for 3. Third delivery, and Harris looks to loft and a drive over mid-on. Mistimes it a bit. It is fielded by, I think that's Natseva Brunt, who is coming in from long on. And the Australians bring up their 130 with a single. Mooney is on strike. Eccleston continues left arm around the wicket. This one is a bit too short from Sophie Eccleston, pulled by Beth Mooney, who finds the boundary, and that is 134 for 3. And Beth Mooney, I think, equals her highest score of the T20 portion of the series. Yes, indeed, she does. 75 of 52. Fifth delivery of Sophie Eccleston's third over. And now Beth Mooney has set 76 benchmark. That's her highest score of the T20 portion of this Women's Ashes series. Final delivery is another single, and Australia end the 17th over on 136 for 3. 13 runs coming off this over. And that means that Sophie Eccleston has figures of 3 overs bowled, no maidens, 27 runs conceded, 1 wicket taken so far for the match. Or the evening, if we are speaking local in Adelaide. Morning here in Germany. It is currently 10:30 in the morning. As Freya Kemp is given a second over. Thus far, she has figures of none for 13 from 1 over. And Harris can't make any runs off the first delivery she faces from Freya Kemp. Australia remain on 136 for 3, run rate of 7.92. In comes Kemp again, left arm around the wicket. Massive swing across the line from Grace Harris, and this time the Australians run another single. Mooney back on strike. She is on 76 of 53, Australia 137 for 3. In comes Kemp again, left arm over the wicket, this time to the left-handed Mooney, who looks to scoop her. And the Australians run a single as it is given as a wide. Yes, as we are seeing replays, that one is wide down the leg side, and Harris is back on strike, and she is looking to scoop Freya Kemp. She does, but it is too bad for her. Straight down the throat of fine leg. And Grace Harris will have to go. She is caught capsy, bowled Kemp 11 of 10 deliveries. Oh, bit of a disconnection. Yeah, as I was saying, it's interesting that we now have three Australian batters out for around 100, out with a strike rate of around 110. As Annabelle Sutherland is now in for Australia at number 6. She is off the mark straight away with single. And Beth Mooney continues. She is currently on 79 of 55 after 18 overs have been bowled. 143 for 4 the Australians. The run rate is 7.94. Mooney on 79 of 55. Sutherland on 1 of 1. And Freya Kemp has figures of 1 for 20 from 2 overs. As we are seeing replays of Alana King, and I think that's Megan Schutt, joking around during the warm-ups pre-game. Anyway, Smith is back. Lindsay Smith. She is bowling to Beth Mooney, and 80 is up for Beth Mooney as she lifts Lindsay Smith towards the boundary at deep fine leg. Australia 147 for 4. Beth Mooney on 83 of 56. In comes Smith again, pulled by Mooney, fielded out in the deep by Danny Wyatt Hodge, I think, and the Australians have run a couple. 85 of 57 deliveries for Beth Mooney, and Australia move on to 149 for 4. As we are seeing, no, that's not a replay. A single into the leg side for Mooney off the third delivery of Smith's third over. 150 up for Australia, 4 wickets down, and Annabelle Sutherland is on strike. She is on 1 of 1. Mooney on the non-strikers and at the non-strikers end on 86 of 58. The run rate is 8.11 as Annabelle Sutherland steps away to leg to give herself room, lofts Smith towards the fielder at long on. That is Nat Silverbrandt. It falls short though, and the replays. This is again. She is strolling in relatively casually. If she had been a bit more urgent, that would have been a possible catch. Doesn't matter. As Lindsay Smith bowls basically exactly the same delivery, and Annabelle Sutherland attempts basically exactly the same shot. This time she gets a bit more on it, and this time Nat Silverbrandt has her taken at long on. Annabelle Sutherland caught Nat Silverbrandt, bowled Smith for 3 of 3 deliveries. Yeah, that was a that must be a relief for England, as that previous error by Nat Silverbrandt didn't cost them any runs. Annabelle Sutherland was given a life by bad English fielding. But that mistake was rectified on the very next delivery as Nat Silverbrand takes the wicket, and that brings or takes the catch, and that brings out the captain, Talia McGrath. Strike rate of 132.4 for her career, highest score of 91 not out. 152 for 5, the Australians, and an innings at a strike rate of 132 would take them to around, well, it doesn't really matter. It would take them to around 160. Doesn't matter. 19 overs gone, 152 for 5, because it doesn't matter, because Beth Mooney is now on strike. She's on 86 of 58, and well, there is basically nothing to lose here for Australia. 1 over left. The run rate is exactly 8. And Beth Mooney has a strike rate of 148 in this innings currently, as Sophie Eccleston is bowling the 20th over. First delivery is another single towards long on by Mooney as she moves off strike, and Talia McGrath is now facing Sophie Eccleston. She is on none of 1 thus far. Australia 153 for 5. In comes Eccleston, left arm around the wicket to the right-handed McGrath, who clips her off her legs towards Nat Silverbrand, who is fielding at the mid-on, and there is another single. So the Australians still rotating the strike, not looking to score all their runs in boundaries. Mooney on strike, 87 of 59. In comes Eccleston again. Left arm around the wicket. Mooney pulls her, and this one is fielded at deep backward square leg, and the Australians have run a couple. So 89 of 60 for Beth Mooney. Australia 156 for 5. 3 more deliveries left in the Australian innings. The last wicket to fall was Annabelle Sutherland. She made 3 of 3. And here comes Sophie Eccleston again, left arm around the wicket. And this one is wide down the leg side, behind Beth Mooney's back. And it is given as a wide. Australia 157 for 5. So still 3 more deliveries left in the over. In comes Sutherland again, and this one is too short, pulled by Mooney. She doesn't reach the boundary. It bounces in front of a fielder in the leg side at mid-wicket, who stops it, throws it back in. The Australians have been running hard, and there is a chance of a run out. I think yes, it is Beth Mooney who is diving, and there is a replay for a direct hit, or for the run out, but I think her bat is grounded before the stumps light up. Yes, indeed, in by a bat's length. So that means Australia get a couple of runs, 159 for 5, and Beth Mooney is in the 90s, 91 for her, 91 not out. Fifth delivery of Sophie Eccleston's over, and again the Australians are running 2. And again, The stumps at the striker's end are broken as there is a throw coming in. And Amy Jones throws down the stumps again. And again, Beth Mooney is safe as we are seeing the replay now. There is a very distinct puff of dust or debris thrown up as she puts down the bat behind the crease at the striker's end. And again, 2 runs for the Australians, bringing up the 161 for 5. Final delivery of the over. Beth Mooney looks to sweep. Sophie Eccleston misses it. There is an appeal for LBW. It is not given out on the field. And England have reviewed it, I think. The Australians are walking off the field because no matter how this decision goes, that's the end of the innings. And this time we are seeing the front on, and Sophie Eccleston doesn't pitch it outside the leg stump this time. It turns towards the leg side, as we are seeing shots of the Australians just disappearing into the tunnel. And I don't know what's going on. Everyone is walking off now. There is no... I don't see it. Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, here is the review. There is an edge. Beth Mooney gets an edge. That is not out. As the umpire is signaling the not out, and there's basically just the ground staff on the field. Everyone has left the field. Both teams have left the field. There is ground staff out there, but the umpire still has to stand at the non-striker's end, wait for the decision, and give the not out signal. That's a bit weird. The Australians steal a single of the final delivery. It is not out, and so Australia end their 20 overs with 162 for 5. Highest score of the Australian innings, 94 not out from opener Beth Mooney. Georgia Wall makes 23. No one else makes more than 12. 162 for 5. Pick of the bowlers for England. Hard to say because we do have Lindsay Smith, Freya Kemp, Charlie Dean, Sophie Eccleston, and Alice Capsey, each taking 1 wicket. So 5 bowlers taking a wicket. Lauren Filer and Nat Silver-Brunt miss out. They are unlucky, combining for 3 overs and no wickets. So that is the innings break. And after the interval, England will have to chase down 163 to win their first match of the 2025 Women's Ashes. I will take a short break and I will be with you for the chase in, well, I guess around 10 to 15 minutes. So, see you later, everyone. And we are back with the chase. So, all in all, despite England looking a bit wonky in the field, this is the lowest score for Australia in this T20 portion of the series. 163 the target for England to chase. And the England openers are out there. 10 seconds to go now. If you are listening, do let me know what your predictions for this chase are, as Megan Schutt is set to open the bowling. Sophia Dunkley, I think, is on strike. And the first one is right arm over the wicket, wide outside the off stump, slashed at by Dunkley, missing it, taken behind the stumps by Beth Mooney, and there is no run. Mooney, who is not keeping in a helmet, even to the Pacers. In comes Megan Schutt again. This time it is onto the stumps and driven past mid-on by Sophia Dunkley, and England are off the mark with the boundary. That's a pretty good on drive from Dunkley, as the fielder from mid-on is diving to stop it, misses it, and it runs away to the boundary for 4 runs. In comes Megan Schutt again. Again, wide outside the off stump, slashed at by Dunkley again. This time she hits it, but it is fielded at backward point. I think that's Georgia Wall. Is it though? Yeah, it might actually be. We are at least seeing close-ups of Wall. England remain on 4 without loss, as there is no run of that third delivery. Next one is clipped off the legs of Sophia Dunkley, and this time the England batters run, and this time they take a single, so no repeat of that time during the series when they brought up their 50, only scoring boundaries off the bat. The only singles or couples they ran were leg byes, I think. In comes Megan Schutt again, and again cut to backward point, where it is fielded by Georgia Wall, and there is no run. So Danny White-Hodge remains on naught of 1. England 5 without loss after 0.5 overs, target of 163. Full toss from Megan Schutt, defended back into the ground by Danny White-Hodge, and there is no run. England 5 without loss in pursuit of 163. Again, if you're listening to this, please consider liking and subscribing, and also let me know what you expect from England here in this chase. As we are seeing an overview of the series history in the multi-format era. England haven't won since 2013-14. There have been a couple of draws since England last held the Women's Ashes, but the trophy has consistently been stored at the SCG. I think they store it at the SCG, as Sophia Dunkley spoons one up into the air, and this one is down the throat of, who is that, as Darcy Brown has taken a wicket First delivery. It is, I think, Phoebe Litchfield as Sophia Dunkley mistimes the first delivery from Darcy Brown straight down Litchfield's throat, and she has to go 5 of 5. England 5 for 1. And that should bring Alice Capsey at number 3. Let me have a look. Yeah. Again, if you are listening, please do get in touch with me. You can use either the YouTube chat or you can use Blue Sky. The @linuxlear.bsky.social is the Blue Sky handle you want to use for that. As we are seeing, Alice Capsey now taking strike. Darcy Brown coming in, right arm over the wicket. There is a slip in place again, and Capsey cuts the first delivery. She faces away for 4 runs, and England move on to 9 for 1. It goes to the right of the backward point fielder that is out there. Slip remains in place as Capsey cuts Brown again. But this time there is protection out in the deep at deep third man, and England are restricted to a single. Double digits up for England, 10 for 1 after 1.3 overs. Danny Wyatt-Hodge is back on strike. She's on not of 2 as we are seeing the field. There is a slip, there is a backward point, there is deep third man, there is extra cover and cover, both. In comes Brown, clipped off the pads of Danny Wyatt-Hodge, who is now off the mark. They are looking for a couple. Think better of it though. And England are 11 for 1. Alice Capsey is on strike. She has 5 runs to her name, 5 of 2. In comes Darcy Brown again. And this one is pushed into the offside. There is no run. England remain 11 for 1. They need 152 more runs from 109 deliveries. Capsey on strike. In comes Brown, right arm over the wicket, full and driven, but straight to cover, and the English batters have run a single. So, 2 overs gone, 12 for 1. England in pursuit of 163. Yeah, despite there being a few misfields by, or quite a few misfields by England, errors in the field, they restricted Australia to 162, their lowest score of the T20 leg of the series so far. As Alana King seems to get ready to bowl, so some leg spin in the 3rd over from the Australians here. She will bowl to Alice Capsey. She is resetting her field. I can't see the field. I'm just seeing close-ups of Alana King directing fielders around. In she comes, right arm over the wicket. And Alice Capsey steps back into the leg side to give herself room and cut her to backward point. And there is no run, as we are seeing that Alice Capsey is the unfortunate Australian player that will have to wear that that microphone on her collar. There is an appeal for caught behind of the second delivery of Alana King's first over. It is not given out on the field, as both Mooney and the bowler are very, very certain that Alice Capsey got a nick behind on that one. It has been reviewed by Captain McGrath, as we are seeing a replay. It looks like Alice Capsey might get away with one here, as Alana King bowled one that bounced, that pitches probably outside her leg stump. Alice Capsey is going down on one knee, looking to sweep it, misses it, and she might actually get a touch of glove on that one, as she absolutely mistimes it. We are now seeing Ultra Edge, and there is a spike on Ultra Edge. There is actually a spike on Ultra Edge, and England lose their second wicket inside 3 overs. The decision is coming back to the on-field umpire, who has to reverse her decision. She's making the signal. That is gone. Alice Capsey has to go 6 of 6. England 12 for 2 after 2.2 overs. And yeah, looking grim here for England. So Nat Silverbrandt is in for England at number 4. As it looks like Alice Capsey is very, very unhappy with that decision, but there is a very, very, very clear spike on Ultra Edge. There is nothing to disagree with in that third umpire decision. So Nat Silverbrandt is in at number 4 for England, and she is off the mark first delivery she faces. Danny White-Hodge is on strike. She is 1 of 3. Nat Silverbrandt is 1 of 1. And England are 13 for 2. Let's see if anyone is with us. If you are listening again, please consider liking, subscribing, and yeah, you can send me messages. You can send the stream messages. You can use the YouTube chat, or you can use Blue Sky. The @linuxlia.bsky.social handle is the one I will be monitoring. Fourth delivery is a dot ball, and the fifth one is a filthy full toss that Danny White-Hodge can get to long mid-on. But the English batters are kept to a single, as Alana King ends her over with another dot ball, as Nat Silverbrandt defends one back into the pitch, and Alana King has figures of 1 for 2 of her first over. England 14 for 2. they need 149 more runs from 102 delivery as Annabelle Sutherland is brought into the attack for Australia. 3 overs gone, so the 4th over goes to Annabelle Sutherland. She has taken 31 wickets in her T20 international career. Her best figures are 3 for 21. An economy over 6, apparently. As we are seeing where Danny White-Hodge taking a strike, and first delivery she cuts Annabelle Sutherland, and she cuts it to the right of the fielder at gully, finds the boundary as the fielder that was earlier stationed at deep third man has moved on to deep point, and there is a boundary in it for England. $18 for 2. Annabelle Sutherland continues right arm over the wicket, and this time Danny White-Hodge cuts her in front of point. The ball curves behind the wicket, and there is another boundary for England. Very, very, very good shots from Danny White-Hodge so far in the over of Annabelle Sutherland. In comes Sutherland again, right arm over the wicket, and cut again by Danny White-Hodge, but this time it is, I think, Megan Schutt who is stationed now again at deep third man, and she stops the ball from reaching the boundary. There is a single to England, 23 for 2. Nat Silverbrandt is on strike. She is on 1 of 2. Danny White-Hodge has moved on to 11 of 8. And Annabelle Sutherland is getting ready to deliver the 3rd ball of her first over, as we are seeing Beth Mooney getting ready, and that one is a beauty. Nat Silverbrandt is looking to defend with a straight bat, and this one seams in, takes the top of her off stump, and she is out, clean bowled. Nat Silverbrandt has to go 1 of 3, and England are in trouble, 23 for 3. That's a very, very good delivery from Annabelle Sutherland. It's an absolute beauty, and Nat Silverbrandt can't believe that she has been bowled. Strike rate of 33.3 for Nat Silverbrandt in this innings. And I think that means that Captain Heather Knight is coming out into the middle. I was joking about referring to her as Lady Snowblood yesterday. Because of her innings in the second T20 International, which was basically the most cricket thing ever. It was a real captain's knock. She was flashing her blade. It was a real captain's knock in a losing cause. There was rain involved, she was basically the last batter standing for England in that loss on Thursday. And as we all know, a good Chanbara, which is a Japanese swordplay film, involves a rain scene. Every good samurai movie needs to involve a rain scene. And one of the finest Chanbaras is Lady Snowblood, of course, with a female assassin or sword fighter, swordswoman. So that's just a bit of background to that joke for anyone interested. So Sutherland can keep Heather Knight quiet here for the rest of the over. 2 more dot balls and England remain on 23 for 3. Heather Knight none of 2 and Danny White Hodge on 11 of 8. Darcy Brown is continuing. Figures of 1 for 7 from her first over. She made the first breakthrough of Australia's bowling efforts. In she comes, right arm over the wicket, full toss to Danny White Hodge, who can only play that out to mid-on, where it is fielded by Alana King, and there is no run. 23 for 3, still the score. 4.1 overs gone. And Darcy Brown is coming in again, right arm over the wicket, and this one is a bit shorter, and Danny White Hodge ducks under that one. There is no run, 23 for 3, as we are seeing some apparently relatively important people sitting in the stands. They have name tags on their clothes. I can't read any of them, and I don't know them, don't know their faces, so I can't tell you who it is and why they are important. In comes Darcy Brown again, right arm over the wicket, and Danny White Hodge is looking to hack at that one, misses it. She seems to look to run a bye there, but Beth Mooney gathers the ball, and Danny White Hodge is sent back by Captain Heather Knight from the non-striker's end. In comes Darcy Brown again. Pulled by Danny White Hodge. Beth Mooney is running after it, but in the end it is Elise Perry who picks up the ball, throws it back to Georgia Voll, who has come in from point, and England have rotated the strike, taken the single, 24 for 3. Heather Knight is on strike. She is on none of 2. England, 24 for 3. In comes Brown again, and this one a lazy lap sweep from Heather Knight that finds the way to the boundary. 4 runs, and Heather Knight is off the mark. 4 of 3. England move on to 28 for 3. Good shot that by Heather Knight. Looked a bit like Rohit Sharma in all his lazy elegance, something like that. Rohit obviously a lot chunkier than Heather Knight. So that's a point against Heather Knight in this case. A couple of the final delivery of Brown's second over, and England end the 5th on 30 for 3. Danny White Hodge on 12 of 12 and Heather Knight on 6 of 4. We are now seeing some replays from the pre-game session, and apparently Alyssa Healy was taking some batting practice, which is quite fun because she's she has a heel injury and she is still wearing that big plastic boot that is basically in it's almost like a cast. She is still wearing that on her right foot. She is still betting in it though, at least in the warm ups, as Megan Schutt continues and she is cut aerially as Danny Wyatt Hodge steps back to the leg side and lofts one over point. There is another boundary in it for England. So 34 for 3. Danny White Hodge on 16 of 13. Heather Knight at the non-strikers end on 6 of 4. 5.1 all was bowled. Megan Schutt with figures of none for 9 now. In she comes, and this one is clipped into the leg side, fielded at mid on, and England have taken a single. Heather Knight on strike now. England are behind where Australia were at this stage of the game, and they have lost 3 more wickets than Australia did, who had a half-century opening partnership between Beth Mooney and Georgia Wall. Dot ball is the result of the first delivery that Heather Knight has to face from Megan Schutt, as we are for some reason seeing a conversation about Alex Hartley's trainers. And she's wearing those trainers with the sole that goes way behind the heel, that is extended outwards. I think there is a bit of joking about front foot no balls going on there, because those shoes look tailor-made for cricket bowlers, giving them a bit more leeway in the no ball area, which is kind of a weird thing to talk about right now, because I don't think there have been any no balls in this T20 leg of the series. Anyway, Heather Knight gets another pull for 4 runs, and she moves on to 10 of 7 now. England 39 for 3, as Megan Schutt has conceded 9 runs of her second over thus far. Final delivery coming up. Right arm over the wicket and played out straight to point by Heather Knight, and there is no run. England remain on 39 for 3. 6 overs are gone. The target is 163, just as a reminder. England need 124 further runs in 84 deliveries. The current run rate is 6.5. The required run rate is 8.96. And I think we are seeing Georgia Wareham for the first time. As we are seeing the England dugout. Sophie Eccleston, always a very, very expressive face. She's, well, let's put it that way. With that kind of emoting, she could have made a career in silent movies, as Danny Wyatt Hodge spoons the first delivery of Georgia Wareham. She faces straight down the throat of long off, and England lose their 4th wicket, 39 for 4. At this stage, Australia were 45 without loss, and I couldn't make out who's I think it's Annabelle Sutherland out there. let's have a look at the scorecard. It is indeed Annabelle Sutherland, and that means that Danny White-Hodge is out, caught Sutherland, bowled Wareham for 17 of 15 deliveries, 3 fours, no sixes, a strike rate of 113.33. And England have to bring out Amy Jones into the middle. Inside, shortly after the power play, England are down to their number 6. And Amy Jones is probably the last recognized batter for England in this configuration of the team. 1,592 runs in her career. She can make 1,600 in this innings. Georgia Wareham with figures of 1 for none. Excellent. In she comes again, right arm over the wicket. Played out to Captain Talia McGrath at mid-on. There is no run, as England seem to be going nowhere relatively slowly. Again, a reminder, the target is 163. England were able to keep Australia to their lowest score of the T20 leg of the Ashes, despite letting a few chances fall by the wayside, misfields and stuff like that. England looked a bit wonky in the field, and there is an appeal against Jones. Second delivery she faces of Georgia Wareham, as Amy Jones is looking for a scoop. It is given not out on the field. Oh no, it's given out on the field, and England have reviewed it, I think. She's looking for a scoop. She is missing it. It hits her beneath the knee roll on her front foot. And let's see a ball tracking, as there is nothing on Ultra Edge. Ball tracking coming up now. It is pitching in line, the impact is in line, and it is hitting the wickets. And that means that Amy Jones has to go for a duck, and Australia are into the England tail. We see Amy Jones trotting off the field, a review in tow. England 39 for 5. Well, this is now looking very, very, very bad for England. 5 wickets in hand, and who is the next England batter? Let's have a look at the scorecard. It should be Freya Kemp. It is indeed Freya Kemp. So, Georgia Wareham is currently sitting on a double wicket maiden, as she is coming in right arm over the wicket to the left-handed Kemp. There is an appeal for LBW. First delivery, Kemp faces off Wareham. It is not given on the field, and let's see if the Australians Yes, the Australians have reviewed that not out decision on the field. Could this be it for Freya Kemp? And could Georgia Wareham be on a hat trick here? Let's see what DRS is saying. We are seeing front on now, and this looks like it pitches outside leg. Freya Kemp misses it, and it would have gone on to hit the stumps from what I can see of the replay here. There is Ultra Edge now, and there is nothing on Ultra Edge as the ball passes the bat. But as I said, I think this one is pitching outside leg. Let's see ball tracking here. The original decision is not out, and it is pitching well outside the leg stump. That means that Freya Kemp is not out. Australia lose a review as well. And Georgia Wareham is not on a hat trick, but she has bowled 4 deliveries. She has conceded no runs. She is still sitting on currently a double wicket maiden. England 39 for 5. In comes Georgia Wareham again. Full toss that is driven straight to long on by Freya Kemp, and there is the single. So Georgia Wareham has conceded the first run of the match for her. As we are seeing the England dugout, and it looks like Sophie Eccleston is padded up. 40 up for England, 40 for 5 after 6.5 overs, but the target is 163. They need a further 1, 2, 3 runs from 79 deliveries. One of those is coming off the final delivery of Georgia Wareham's over as Heather Knight gets a single. 41 for 5 now. And the English batters are out in the middle having a bit of a chat, touching gloves. And let's see if anyone is with us. Again, if you are listening, you can always get in touch with me on the YouTube chat, or you can use Blue Sky. I will be monitoring the at linuxlea.bsky.social handle for that one. So feel free. Always good to hear from you out there. Where are you listening in from? What are your plans for the day? Are you going to watch the second T20 between England and India later today? I am not covering that one. I will leave you in the capable hands of Gorilla Cricket for that one. I will show you at the end where you can find them. Even though I'm relatively certain that most people listening to this know who Gorilla Cricket are, but for those who don't know, stay tuned. I will tell you where to find them. In addition to YouTube, because of course they are on here as well. So anyway, Darcy Brown is continuing. First one is a single to Heather Knight. So Freya Kemp is back on strike, who can't do anything with the second delivery of the over, as she is defending that one back towards the bowler. There is no run. England remain on 42 for 5. Target 163. That target, I think it's a relatively low-ish target. It is the lowest target of the T20 leg of the series so far. It is the 162 is the lowest score for Australia in the 3 matches. And even though you could say that it suggests a pretty tidy performance from England with the ball and in the field. Yeah, I don't really think so, because England kept the Australians to a low-ish total, but there were a lot of misfields and dropped catches and stuff like that. England have been relatively poor in the field thus far in the series. Fourth delivery of the over brings Freya Kemp her first boundary of the innings. 4 runs for her. And next delivery, she is looking to loft Darcy Brown over mid-off. Only gets the toe end of the bat to that, and she is out caught. And I think it's Georgia Voll who is taking that catch. Let's have a look at the scorecard. Oh no, it was Grace Harris. I'm sorry. It's Grace Harris. Everyone was high-fiving Georgia Voll in the close-ups, so I assumed it might have been her who took the catch, but it wasn't. So Freya Kemp has to go caught. Harris, Bolt, Brown, 5 of 6, and England 46 for 6, and I think that means that Sophie Eccleston will have to come out into the middle before we have even reached the halfway point of the innings. Oh, no, it's not. It's not Sophie Eccleston who is coming out. It is indeed Charlie Dean. Sophie Eccleston was padded up earlier, though. We saw her as Charlie Dean is off the mark with a clip of her pads. A single to end the over. 46 for 6 as the throw is coming in. It bounces off the stumps, the bails go flying, and England for a second looked like they were contemplating running a bye as Beth Mooney is running after the ball. They decide against it though, as we are seeing a summary of the series so far. Australia win by 4 wickets, 21 runs and 86 runs in the one-day internationals. In the T20s, they won by 57 runs and by 6 runs, but that one was on Duckworth-Lewis stern. A rain-affected second T20 international. That was a lot more tense than it had any right to be. Georgia Wareham is continuing to Charlie Dean, and she serves up a wide first ball. There is no run off the bat though, so 48 for 6. In comes Wareham again, right arm over the wicket to the right-handed Charlie Dean. Who is looking to cut her away, misses it though, and Beth Mooney behind the stumps takes it as third delivery. Charlie Dean is looking to sweep. Georgia Wareham gets a top edge. The ball balloons up into the air and is taken in the leg side by a line wicket. England lose their 7th wicket. Charlie Dean has to go caught King, Bolt, Wareham for 1. And are we seeing Eccleston now? Because before Charlie Dean came out to bat, we were shown pictures of the England dugout and Sophie Eccleston was sitting in the dugout, clearly padded up. It is indeed Sophie Eccleston, 280 runs in her T20 international career at a strike rate of 131.5. A highest score of 33 not out. As we are seeing close-ups of Beth Mooney, who is keeping up to the stumps to Georgia Wareham, who is an off-spinner. And Beth Mooney is keeping in a helmet, which is quite funny, I think, because earlier she was keeping in a cap to the Pacers. And I mean, I've seen wicket keepers keeping in a cap to the spinners, and it's basically famously Dhoni did it, or does it, or tends to do it. So Beth Mooney is basically doing a reverse Dhoni here. Keeping in a cap, standing back to the Pacers, and standing up to the stumps, keeping in a helmet to the spinners. A single of the 5th delivery of the over, and Heather Knight is moving on to 13 of 12. Sophie Eccleston faces the final delivery, gets an under edge as she is looking to cut Wareham away. Beth Mooney takes it on the bounce, and England are 54-7 after 9 overs in pursuit of a target of 163. 113 runs needed from 66 deliveries, and we are getting close to a required run rate of 12. It is currently 10.59. And Annabelle Sutherland is continuing for Australia. She has figures of 1 for 9 from her first over. In she comes, right arm over the wicket, and Heather Knight defends it in front of her pads with a very, very straight bat. There is no run. England remain on 54-7. Let's see. In comes Sutherland again, right arm over the wicket. This time played out to short mid-wicket by Heather Knight, and there is again no run. Amy Sutherland is bowling at around 108 to 110 kilometers per hour. Not much happening out in the middle. The problem is we're seeing so many shots of the inside of the commentary box, instead of maybe some shots of the field or stuff like that between deliveries and in between overs. Okay, I can understand the time between overs is needed to show some commercials. Okay. In comes Annabelle Sutherland again, clipped off the legs of Heather Knight. There is a single in that one, as Sophie Eccleston is now taking strike. And as I was saying earlier, Mooney is keeping back to Annabelle Sutherland, and she is doing so in a cap. Yes. Beth Mooney is doing a reverse Dhoni. Dhoni, who tends to keep in a cap to the spinners and a helmet to the Pacers. In comes Annabelle Sutherland again, right arm over the wicket to the right-handed Sophie Eccleston, who defends it back towards the bowler, and there is no run. Eccleston 1 of 3 now. England 51-7. I think their lowest their lowest total in T20 internationals is 87 or something like that. Final delivery, and Sophie Eccleston spoons one up into the air, and this time it is Australia's turn to drop a simple catch. Sophie Eccleston is given a life, and you can see her relief in the close-up. Sophie Eccleston, very expressive with her face. As it is Georgia Wareham who is looking to take the catch, fingers pointing up, and the ball slips through her hands, hits her on the shoulder, and falls to the ground. But there is no run, and that means we have completed 10 overs. England are 52 for 7, and that is a drinks break, and I will also take a very, very short break. Please forgive me, I will be back with you in a few minutes for the rest of the England chase. And we are back for the rest of this England chase of 163. Georgia Wareham is continuing for her third over, and Sophie Eccleston sweeps her for a single, I think, as it is fielded at deep mid-wicket. We are seeing a replay of that dropped catch in the last over when Georgia Wareham gave Sophie Eccleston a life. Driven straight back to the bowler by Heather Knight, and there is no run. 53 for 7, England after 10.2 overs. Australia. So, okay. Georgia Wareham with figures of 3 for 7 now as her over is completed. And Brown is back. 11 overs gone. England 54 for 7. Brown coming in, right arm over the wicket to the right-handed Heather Knight, who plays this one out to cover, where it is fielded by Litchfield, who is now at cover to the right-hander Heather Knight. At this stage, Australia were 83 for 2. And there is a there is a bit of Katerstimmung in the stands where the Barmy Army contingent is sitting. Katerstimmung being the German word for, well, basically, Kater is a hangover. A Kater is a tomcat, and a hangover is generally called a Kater in Germany. I don't really know why. Maybe it's perhaps the furry feeling on your tongue or something like that. It's not as self-explanatory as the Swedish word for a hangover is, which is tömmermän, literally carpenters, because it's hammering in your head. Anyway, Brown is continuing right arm over the wicket to the right-handed Sophie Eccleston, who slashes at one that is fielded by Grace Harris inside the circle, and there is no run. Only a single of this 12th over so far. 4 deliveries have been bowled. Sophie Eccleston is on strike. She's on 3 of 9 as Brown serves up a leg side wide that Eccleston follows with her eyes, as there is no run. She's not really even trying to guide that down towards, or to glance that one down towards fine leg or something like that. Shorter from Brown, and Eccleston looks to hook it, mistimes it. There is an appeal for caught behind from Beth Mooney, but it is given as a wide as well. This time I suspect on, well, this is both on height and line, I would think. 2 wides in consecutive deliveries now for Brown. 57 for 7 England, as she continues to bowl down the leg side. This time, Sophie Eccleston gets under that one though, lofts it towards long on. There are 2 fielders converging on that one, but both are too far away and it falls safely in between them. This is not an error of miscommunication though. Both fielders are running full on towards it. They were just too far away. England 58 for 7 as Heather Knight is on strike now, and she takes a single of the final delivery of Brown's 4th over. She is bowled out. Ends the evening with figures of 2 for 25. And we are seeing some comparisons between Filer and Brown. Brown bowling far further back in the crease. There is nothing of her foot touching the line. As Alana King is bowling the 13th, and she is coming in right arm over the wicket to serve up some leg breaks to Heather Knight, who drives her out to long off, and I think the English have run a single. No, they have not. They have run a couple. So Heather Knight remains on strike. She is 19 of 23. England 61 for 7. Sweep shot by Heather Knight that finds the boundary at deep square leg, and England move on to 65 for 7. The Australians at this stage were around 90 for 2 or something like that. And yeah, the required run rate is above 12 now. It is almost 13. While the current run rate for England is below 6. Driven by Knight, fielded on the boundary, and England have run another 2. 67 for 7. Yes, at this stage Australia were 92 for 2. Heather Knight has brought her strike rate up to 100 again. In comes King. Knight looks for the sweep shot, misses it. There is no run. 2 more deliveries left in the over as the umpire is signaling to, I think, Beth Mooney. Back again. So, after 13 overs, England are 74 for 7 and Megan Schutt is given a third over. She has figures of none for 14 thus far from her 2 overs. A single of the first delivery of Megan Schutt's third over means that Heather Knight moves on to 33 of 29, but it also gives Megan Schutt the opportunity to bowl at Sophie Ecclestone. Ecclestone plays a cover drive that is fielded by cover. That's Captain Talia McGrath, and there is another single. So, Ecclestone is off strike again. Heather Knight faces Megan Schutt, steps away to the leg side, gives herself room and pulls Megan Schutt towards mid-wicket. There is a single. 77 for 7. So, again, a Schnapszahl. And Ecclestone is back on strike. Megan Schutt coming in, right arm over the wicket. And this one is uppercut straight into the hands of who is that? That looks like it is Georgia Wall, who is at backward point generally. She takes she takes a very, very, very fine catch. It is high, but it is to her right. She dives and takes it with both hands, holds on as she falls to the ground, and that means England are 8 wickets down, 77 for 8. And the next batter in should be Lindsay Smith, I think. I think Smith is going to be preferred over Lauren Filer. Let's have a look. It is not the end of the over, but let's have a look if anyone is with us on social media. Reminder, if you are listening to this, please do get in touch. Use the YouTube chat or use Blue Sky, the top Blue Sky handle on your screen right now. That's the one I will be monitoring. You should also follow the rest of the YouTube, the Blue Sky handles on your screen right now. As Megan Schutt continues and Lindsay Smith is off the mark with an inside edge that somehow misses her stumps, and there is a fielder. Oh, it's not an inside edge. She is beaten. And England run 2 byes as the ball is stopped millimeters away from the boundary rope. Very good fielding that from Darcy Brown. Saves the boundary there for Australia. Not that it really matters at this stage in the game, because England are now 79 for 8 in the 14th over. And the target is 163. They need a further 84 runs from 37 deliveries as Smith plays one out towards fine leg, and there is no run. 14 overs gone. England 79 for 8. Let's have a look at Blue Sky. As we are seeing replays of Sophie Eccleston spooning one to Georgia Wall at backward point, where she takes a very, very good grab. Cricket made the good point that it is good to see England get some test batting practice in ahead of the day-nighter next week at the MCG. Yes, their run rate in this T20 is, well, what's the current run rate? Let's have a look. 5.52. Yeah, that's basically a baseball innings. At least in terms of strike rate. McGrath for the first time today, and England bring up their 80 of the first delivery. Second one to Smith there is an appeal for LBW. It is not given. It is not given on the field, and no one seems interested in reviewing that, as Tyler McGrath is walking back to her mark. In she comes again, right arm around the wicket to the left-handed Lindsay Smith, who tries an almighty heave, misses it, goes down on one knee, and there is again no run. England need 83 from 33. In comes McGrath again, pulled by Smith, fielded at the fine leg, and there is a run. There is a run this time. Yes, there is one. 81 for 8 England. Target 163 as McGrath goes over the wicket to the right-handed Heather Knight, who plays the fifth delivery of the over out towards long on, and there is a single. 82 for 8 now. 14.5 overs gone. Target 163. Around the wicket again to the left-handed Smith. Played out to cover. Fielded by Perry. The throw comes in towards the keeper's end, and Beth Mooney whips off the bails. And there is a possible run out. That is very, very close, as the England batters were running. And it is Lindsay Smith who is coming from the non-striker's end, and we are now seeing a replay. Beth Mooney gathers the ball cleanly, and I think that is at best borderline. No, it's not. It's not even on the line. The bat is not even on the line, as Lindsay Smith is diving for the crease. And we are now seeing the replay. That one is out. So Lindsay Smith has to go. There's a comedy run out. And England are 9 down, 82 for 9. I think this is really one of the starker differences between these two teams. The Australian fielding standards are much higher than England. Despite Georgia Wareham dropping Sophie Eccleston, they have not made many more mistakes. Let's put it that way. They haven't made many mistakes in the field, and they have instead taken some very stunning catches. The Georgia Wall one comes to mind. That was also off Eccleston. Wareham dropped her, and there is Lauren Filer now out in the middle, and she brings all of her 2 T20 international runs to the table. England are not going to win this. I'm going out on a limb to say. And again, it is Heather Knight, top scoring for England in losing a cause. She is currently on 37 not out. No one else in England's lineup has made more than 17. Danny White-Hodge is the second highest score of the English innings. She made 17 of 15. Sutherland to continue, and Heather Knight is taking a single. Is it Heather Knight? Just a second. This is a bit confusing right now. No, it was Lauren Filer taking a single. So she moves on to 1 of 2 and increases her T20 international run tally by 50%. She now has 3 T20 international runs in her career. England, 84 for 9. Heather Knight is on strike, 37 of 34. As I said, 20 more than the next best batter for England, which is Danny White-Hodge in this innings. In comes Sutherland again, and Knight goes down on one knee, sweeps her towards backward square, deep square leg, and there is another single. So England 85 for 9. The Barmy Army are singing. I don't know exactly why England are not going along. Are not going to win this, and they are going to lose this T20 international in humiliating fashion. One would say. Dot ball to end the over as Sutherland hits Filer on the fingers down the leg side. There is no run. 85 for 9, 16 overs gone. Target 163. Very, very academic. Very theoretical target at this stage. England needs 78 runs, and they have all of 24 deliveries to do that. In comes Georgia Wareham, right arm over the wicket to Heather Knight, who drives her towards long on, where it is fielded by Litchfield. There is a single, and Lauren Filer is back on strike. She is on 1 of 3. Georgia Wareham is continuing right arm over the wicket. Driven straight to cover by Lauren Filer. There is no run. Still 77 needed. 22 deliveries left. In comes Wareham again. And this one is lofted towards long on. Wareham is stepping across the pitch, trying to stop it. There is a chance for a caught and bowled. Her arms are not long enough though, and England run a single. Driven by Heather Knight, relatively straight towards long off this time, and there is another single. England 88 for 9 now. Filer, who doubled her career total of T20 international runs in this innings, is on strike, playing it straight out to cover again. There is no run. She is on 2 of 6, so that means she now has 4 T20 international runs in her career. Hacked towards long on this time by Filer, and she is retaining the strike because this is the end of the over. England are 89 for 9, 17 overs gone, 4 runs have come from it, and Georgia Wareham ends her night with figures of 4 overs bowled, no maidens, 11 runs conceded, and 3 wickets taken. And it is the captain back into the attack for Australia. Let's have a look if anyone is with us in the chat. Reminder, if you are listening, please consider liking and subscribing, and you can always get in touch with me using either the YouTube chat or Blue Sky. I'd love to hear from you. So, not much joy for England here in this Ashes series. They are still looking for a single win. This is the final limited overs match of the series. There is still a test to come, and one would think that Australia are firm favorites for that one, as there is a single of the second delivery of McGrath's second over. England 90 for 9, and that is that, as Heather Knight is bowled by her opposite number. Australian captain bowls England captain. Oh no, it's not bowled. It's stumped. I'm sorry. As Heather Knight is looking to advance down the pitch, and from that perspective that they showed it before, you could only see the bails Okay. Somehow audio. This is all very, very weird. Let me have a look at that. Monitor off. Okay. I think this is. Is this working? No, it's not. Monitor and output. Okay, this is even worse. Okay, monitor off. Okay, so yeah, I don't know when the audio glitched out. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, everyone. Please consider liking and subscribing. And see you all later today for Gorilla Cricket over there. For the T20 International between India and England from Chennai. So, thank you, everyone.